Welcome to the Mayhem Performance Podcast, episode 4.75, also known as episode 6. We have Inga.
We did not just do a podcast.
Yeah.
We like to wear the same shirts every
Saturday.
day. Yes. It's the next day.
I have not taken a shower or moved from this chair.
Dedicated to the craft, man.
We have with us Inga's daughter.
Inga
right?
Þóra Ingadóttir.
Oh, even better.
That's way better.
Yeah, wait, say the whole thing. Just say the whole thing.
Inga Þóra Ingadóttir.
Oh, that is just so cool. She's going to introduce herself a little bit, get to know her, and then we're going to talk all sorts of CrossFit stuff. But our main foreign coach, probably on staff out of Belgium, pretty cool. Also was on staff prior to myself, prior to Jake, prior to pretty much everybody, right?
I think you started
Mayhem, the original right? Mayhem.
Oh, yeah.
You gave Rich his inspiration. Yeah.
Back in 2011 because I shared a ice bath with him. So that's when
That's how you do it.
Started.
You get Rich in an ice bath and then you pitch him an idea.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there, you're like, Mayhem.
Yep.
I think you should call it Mayhem. He ran with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inga, tell us a little bit, I know it's such a broad question always, but yeah, give us a little background on yourself, I guess specifically in coaching, like when you started CrossFit and what the journeys look like for you, and we'll just jump in here and there.
Yeah,
That's
cool. So I'm from Iceland, but I live in Belgium. So I think my sporting or like my history in sports started probably when I was like 4, because I was a really active, crazy kid, and my mom put me into gymnastics just so that I would get enough energy kind of out of my body. And then I just did all kinds of sports, track and field and soccer, and just I tried everything. So I wasn't great like academically, and that always came a little bit harder to me. So I was like, anything I could choose like sport related at school, that's where I would kind of migrate to. But we started moving around when I was 6, because my parents, they were young, they were 18 when they had me. And so they started, they were still studying. So we first moved to Germany when I was 6. And then pretty much like every 3 years we moved to a different place. So I went to like 13 different schools, always the new girl. And I was pretty shy, but I just had to kind of not be shy anymore, or kind of like not fake it, but I had to like come out of my shell, so I just could connect to people and other kids. And then I went to high school in the States, actually. And there was a class, like a strength and conditioning class, and I was like the only girl there, but I just found something like I just really enjoyed. Like they made us program for our partner, and I just really enjoyed that, and kind of
like your classmate, you got to write their workouts.
Yeah,
that's actually cool.
And this was like in high school.
That is so
that could go really wrong though.
Yeah. I probably did a lot of wrong stuff.
I would have just beat the snot out of people for fun.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But that kind of made me choose in college. So I went also a year in the States to college, to Montgomery College, and I chose a personal training degree. So I finished that. And then at 18, I moved back to Iceland. And
wait, time out. You said you went to and then at 18?
Yeah, so I was really, I started 5 in first grade. So I was always, a year younger than anyone else.
So you got your undergrad at 18 years old?
I got, a personal training degree when I was 17, because I graduated high school at 17. And then I went to college for a year.
Wow, okay.
And then I moved to Iceland, and I did my bachelor of sports science in Iceland.
Got it.
Yeah, and
when did you finish that? Yeah,
22.
Wow. Okay.
And from there it was also like a teaching degree. So I got the chance, or got offered to be a physical education teacher at a school, But at the same time, I also got offered to be a personal trainer at a gym. And that just was more my calling, like to kind of connect with people and help people in that way. So I chose that. And
So you've been doing it since you were 22, or were you doing it beforehand?
no, 18.
18.
Yeah.
Like one-on-one personal training?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is a backdoor way of asking you your age. How many years then have you been doing?
Yeah.
How many years is that total?
That's 22 years.
Good Lord.
So now everybody knows.
That's a
how
lot.
old I
Okay,
am.
well, yeah, we are.
That is awesome.
Inga is officially the most experienced coach on staff. I didn't even know that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just started personal training, and then I myself found a gym called Boot Camp, and it was just like I was always really competitive, like being in gymnastics and just loving sports and that atmosphere, and just being part of this boot camp gym is like where I found all of that. Like we could compete. We were like doing crazy challenges, like got some Navy SEALs guys to come from Florida and like take us through Hell Weekend, and just like running on mountains like in the middle of the night, and just crazy.
In Iceland.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was
You guys had SEALs come from Florida to,
Yeah.
wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, so those were some crazy years, and I started coaching there. And actually, how like we did it, we came there at 6:00 in the morning, and we had no idea what we were gonna do for the day, like for the classes. And we were like, so what are we gonna do? So we just like programmed like before everybody came in the door,
Wow.
and it was like the best classes. Like it was amazing. So there I learned a lot of like improv programming on the spot. But actually there was a young lady, Annie Thorisdottir, that I coached. And actually I think the secret to her being so good is because she was always late.
I thought you were going to say you. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I was like, man, swag. Yeah.
Now she was always late to class, so we always made her do like a penalty. So she was always doing like more than the others. Yeah, and then Catherine joined as well, and everybody know, or a lot of people know Annie's story, but she went to the games, and
What year was this? Like,
this is 2009.
so were you guys
Or-
doing CrossFit?
No, this was like boot camp.
So you weren't an affiliate yet.
No. And then she went to the games, and like she was like third place or something because she couldn't do the muscle ups because it was like her first time in CrossFit ever. And she just went to the games.
Did you know? Were you aware of CrossFit at the time and people at the like coaches at the gym or?
Yeah, because we were like her coach, and we knew she was gonna be competing at this competition at the ranch.
So she had only been doing boot camp.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
signed
she
up,
also did pole vaulting and track, and
Okay.
she also was a gymnast.
and then signed up for like, oh, this looks cool, and
Yeah.
then like signed up for it.
Yeah. There was another friend of ours that actually asked her to do it. She was really young, but yeah, she got there third place or something. And then when she came back, we all just kind of like, what is this CrossFit thing? And so she and another friend of ours opened an affiliate inside of the bootcamp gym. And then she so it turned like she coached us to become CrossFit coaches in a way. But then, of course, we got our level ones. And this is 2010 when this affiliate started. And actually also the year that I had my first son. And then a year later, I was competing at the games.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you are the first Annie Thorisdottir. Sorry, Annie. You had a kid.
I'm the
and then went to
original
the
daughter.
games. You are.
I know.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, so my son was like 14 months or something when I was
Wow.
competing at the regionals in England.
Did you feel prepared for that first one, or was that like a big eye opener for you as an athlete? Like, or because at the time you were kind of in your own little world, right? In Iceland, you didn't really, like know.
Yeah, and like in boot camp, we did work with some weights, but we weren't like cleaning or snatching or anything like that. So I just remember my first workout, I had to clean like 40 kilograms, which is like, 90 I couldn't get it up. I was like, what? Like, but then like I was just so stubborn, so somehow I just got it up there. But of course with technique then. But yeah, I did feel. I felt prepared. Like we trained. I've just always trained a lot, like long hours and yeah. So then we competed there at the games in 2011. And then I went back to the games in well, actually I was did the regionals as an individual as well in 2012, and I was like 17th place, I think. Yeah, 17th fittest woman in Europe. Yeah.
Swag.
And then we
A lot of this we don't know. Just so
yeah,
people listening.
Dude, she's definitely
We're
the
learning
fittest
about
coach on staff.
Yeah, for
hands
sure.
down.
Well,
For sure.
back in the day.
Maybe Stack at one
Stack
point.
may
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
true. I
were in
forgot
your
about
prime around the
Stack.
same time,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Like
I remember
13-ish?
him.
Yeah.
Actually, I have on my Facebook I have a picture of Stack, like because he was demoing something for the 2013
Nice.
games.
Nice.
But
Well, I mean Tyler though.
Oh, true.
She's
he's
crap.
the current.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah.
Of course. But in 2013, I also made it on a team. It was called Team Thor, and I was actually on a team with my husband.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we were coaching CrossFit, training CrossFit, like competing, like talking about it at home. Like it was like all about CrossFit. And then we got, I got a call from Luxembourg. So this is a few years later, 2015. There was Icelandic people that owned a CrossFit gym in Luxembourg, and they needed someone to come and manage the place, just run the show. And they wanted me and my husband to come out, and we were like, oh yeah, let's go. So we took our son and our dogs and just moved to Luxembourg. I mean, I was used to moving anyways, like every 3 years, so it wasn't a big deal for me. So we lived there for 3 years. Then we took a slight U-turn to Vietnam for a year. And now we live in Belgium, where my husband works.
I found that out last night.
Yeah.
Side note, went to Vietnam for a year. Yeah. And then what were you doing in Vietnam? Or you're not allowed to talk about it?
Sure.
Okay, I'm
It's
joking.
fine.
I'm
No, it's top secret.
What the heck?
I don't know. Maybe she's in like the
I have a Vietnamese hand.
Dude, they had
Come
the
on.
Navy SEALs come out to Iceland.
Yeah.
Maybe she got like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know,
Yeah.
certified on the side or
Icelandic
something.
spy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were there. So our plan, we really wanted to move to America, actually. And my father-in-law, he lives in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Let's
And
go.
yeah. And
Is he a Packers fan?
oh yeah, he's got
That's
some
not even a
tickets
question.
and everything.
Yeah,
It's
true.
like
Touche.
he's all in. He even has like a school bus that he uses for tailgating, like that he has decked
Oh
out.
my
It's
gosh, this
so
is my
cool.
guy.
It's
Nice.
so cool. But yeah, it's hard to get a visa, believe it or not, for Icelandic people to move to the States. So we were doing like a transfer. So we were working for him in Vietnam, and we were going to do like a transfer within the company. That was the plan. But then Rogue called us and wanted my husband and I to come to Belgium to work for them.
Yeah. So what is, go ahead and just tell everybody like what is his role at Rogue in Europe? Or official title, I guess.
So he is, oh gosh, what is the title? he's like, it's not called director, but he pretty much is running the show in Europe now.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then what do you currently do now, like outside, or at the gym, and talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. And in Belgium, in Antwerp, where we live, I own my own affiliate called CrossFit W. For Wonder, because I love Wonder Woman.
Nice.
And I've been coaching for so long, and I just really like, that's something that I just know is my calling. Like I have 5 brothers, by the way, and they're all younger than me. And I was like, I remember coaching them like outside in the yard, like, so now you're gonna do 20 push-ups, and then you're gonna go and do some squats, and then we're gonna jump on the trampoline. I'm gonna teach you like a backflip. And
That's awesome.
my poor boys. So
all this going on, like huge history in the sport
yeah,
and in CrossFit.
yeah.
Mayhem. How does that come about? Like, how do you even get plugged in with Mayhem? How are you here now?
So it was actually my dear friend Facundo that he was talking to my husband at Rogue, like telling him about Mayhem ID, which is now Mayhem Performance Coaching, and he was like, "Well, I think Inga would be perfect for this, and do you know if she would be interested?" And I mean, of course, I was like, "Yeah." I mean, I was a little bit, 'cause I love coaching people in person and like giving my energy and getting energy back and like reading people that way. So I was a bit like, "Oh my gosh, how is this gonna be remote coaching? Like, how am I gonna reach them in the same way?" But I think it's just, I've learned that it's so amazing how you can connect to a person just through communication, like even if it's through a screen or text. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, there's people I've coached for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And I've never met them, and I feel like, like, I don't know, I feel like they're like family or like a really close friend.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Same.
And when sometimes I do meet them, right, and you're like, it's odd that I haven't met them. You're like, this is weird. Like, I know you. Like, that you forget I've never met you before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. But I was in Iceland, you know the show Biggest Loser?
Oh yeah.
So we had that show in Iceland, and my role, like, I wasn't in the show or anything, but my role was kind of to take care of the people that would get voted off or whatever, like couldn't continue anymore on the show. And when they like couldn't compete anymore, like, we didn't want to just have them do nothing. So I was kind of the person that led them, like gave them a program and was kind of coaching them in a way. But I just felt that I wanted to find something where I could affect more than just the 1, 2, 3 hours that I saw them like at the gym. And I feel like Mayhem Performance Coaching gives me that platform. Like, I can connect with them like on a level where I can actually like guide them and touch their or not, like, kind of how am I gonna say this? Like, just guide them like also the other 22 hours, like you know.
Yeah, outside of the gym as well.
Yeah,
that is cool. How I remember when I was first getting into remote coaching from an affiliate, I was like terrified because I had been coaching like the 9 a.m. like moms, and they were my best friends, and then like the 5 p.m. class was like all younger people, usually like coming off of work, and like I was like, how am I going to teach somebody how to do a snatch over a computer or something? But it is cool that you can like build relationships through that, almost on a deeper level sometimes, just because you're involved in more than just like individually in their programming, but also like when you have calls with people, like usually they tell you about their lives. It's like,
oh yeah.
So that's really cool.
Looking back across all of it, like your years of experience in the sport and the history, and like going back to the early days, this is a really broad question, but something I've always wanted to ask you is like in what ways have you seen the sport evolve? Like, that's changed the way that you coach people in the sport? Because I'm sure, like, even though you've been with, Mayhem and working with, competitive CrossFit athletes, you've been, I'm sure, doing that a lot, like even at the local gym, right? People who want to compete, whether it's locally or whatever level. Yeah. What have you seen change in the sport, and how has it changed your coaching, the way you coach people?
Well, back in the day, it was just pretty much show up and let's try to do as much as we can without dying, like for the next 2 hours. And there wasn't like this knowledge like of the body like coaches have today. Well, I mean, I'm sure that some coaches knew like how the body works and the systems and all that, but still we weren't really thinking about, training, like looking at our pulse or anything. Like, we were just training hard, the hardest that we could. But now I feel like with like more knowledge, and like it's more calculated. Like you can write a program for someone, like you after you have tested and seen like their weaknesses and like where they need to improve, and it's just
It's like the ultimate chess match, right? Like
Yeah.
Sean was saying.
Yeah.
What kind of people are you the most passionate about helping? Like who fires you up the most?
I feel like that's such a hard question because my favorite thing about it is just connecting with people, and I really love coaching like beginners, and I love coaching also like someone at the highest level. So it's like it's a hard question. It's just I just love the challenge of being able to help someone like be the best version of them, like as an athlete and as a human in general. So it's like
So maybe less level, like where they're at, and then more about like what kind of person do you connect with the best, or like, you know, that you feel like you're the best, you're the most effective at helping.
I think like my strength is that I'm a pretty good people reader, and I know like also like from working back in the day in boot camp, I could kind of read and see like the guys that liked me screaming in their face, like that's what they needed. And then like the girls that had no confidence, that needed me to be like more uplifting and like a cheerleader, like I don't know, I just like it all.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a skill. That was one of the biggest areas I struggled in early on, was that just connecting with people and different personalities. And I remember I had a mentor had me read a book called Surrounded by Idiots, where it's like different personality types and try to like how to communicate more effectively. I'd say in all of coaching, that was my biggest area of opportunity. I felt like I could read people well, but I was so set in kind of my own personality, my own ways. You know, it was kind of that jock mentality a little bit, like suck it up, like just suck it. Like, what are we doing? Like, just shut up. Like, why are we even worried about this? You know, and I was honestly unsympathetic with some people, and so I mean it's a skill that I think people can develop, and then some coaches like yourself are just good at it to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
did you have a coach when you were like competing for the games, or you guys just like trained as a team, wrote your own stuff?
Yeah, we pretty much just wrote our own stuff. We tried to have a coach. He was actually, what was his name again? He competed on a team himself in 2013, but yeah, that didn't really work out. But yeah, and he helped us a lot as well. And Yami, he has been there as well for years. Yeah, it was just mostly ourselves.
Did you feel like you took anything away from like writing your own programming or like training from the games that you use now as a coach? Or like even like, I know there's a lot of stuff I look back on that I did like as an athlete before I had a coach, which was like way later in my CrossFit competing career, if I call it that, where like I was like, oh my gosh, like I wish I knew what I knew now, or like I wish I applied what I'm giving my athletes now to myself back then when I was just like smashing myself until I die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think like I wish I would have known more like about just nutrition and how to kind of balance the like putting on strength and then not like doing as much cardio and like all this that I know now. I mean, we just went hard.
well, it's boot camp culture, right? Like, I mean, that's what you were raised in, so to speak. Yeah.
I mean, even in CrossFit in the first place too, I feel like I grew up in the same thing. Coming into CrossFit, it was just like, oh wait, you start with one workout, then it's like, let's do 3 workouts. Like if I want to get stronger, I'm going to do Isabel 5 times a week to get my snatch better.
Yeah.
And that like was not helping.
Yeah. But I love to write workouts that are like long and brutal and like kind of in that.
Do you struggle with that now too? You think sometimes like that bias towards that style of coaching and programming where you're like, oh, you like want to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can be that way too. Like,
sure.
Yeah. We all have a style. We all have like preferences and things that, we bias, and I can be the same way.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, because that's what I enjoy.
Mm.
I don't love strength training.
Yeah.
I don't love, because I'm soft, but in my legs, I don't love squatting in particular. But I love those long grinders, right?
Yeah.
That's what got me hooked on CrossFit, because
Yeah.
everything in football is short and fast and powerful. And so I definitely have that bias sometimes, like where, yeah, you know, I'm writing things that I think would be fun for me,
Yeah.
you know, or enjoyable for me, and not, you know, starting from what's most effective for this person.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
It's cool. It's really cool. What like in your experience now that you've been doing coaching, like what are things that you look for in athletes that you coach that you are trying to like adjust programming for in order to like make them better competitors, and not just like in the gym, but you were talking about like outside of their life? Like what are things that you specifically look for in athletes? And then something you always do a good job in our coaches call, because we're just a bunch of meatheads and dudes, is you remind
you're the only woman holding the fort down.
you like remind us that like females have different things
Yeah.
than male athletes do. So like, how do you relate to that too on like a female level, and being a female CrossFit athlete yourself who's competed a lot? Like what are ways that like you kind of work with, especially female athletes, I guess is more my question, in order to help them like advance in the sport in and outside of the gym?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. Like a lot of testing, I think, like fitness testing, have been done on males, and then it's like, well, let's just do a little bit less percentage for the women. Like, but we're not small men. Like we have, like our hormones are just crazy, and we have, I think we have 1 week where we are, like our bodies are kind of alike with the male body. Yeah, so I find with my female athletes, like in particular, maybe one that I'm coaching, like I find it's very mental with them actually. Just like they lack confidence, and they don't see themselves maybe the way that I see them and the potential, and so it's like a lot in their head that, you know, you have to kind of read and coach in a way.
Sure.
Loaded question. How do you do that? Teach me.
Yeah.
Teach me your ways.
I mean, it's just by understanding and just talking to them and seeing like, how do you feel about it, and why do you think that is, and I don't know, just be empathetic and have patience.
Patience. That's a key word.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Female athletes.
Yeah.
Is it on the flip side of that? What are some of the challenges of being a female coach and trying to coach like competitive males
Great question.
in the
Yeah.
sport? And how much pushback do you receive quite often of them being like, well, I'm a man, so I know better or something? I used to see that a lot in my affiliate with like the female coaches who were literally, honestly, like the two female coaches I'm thinking of were almost better coaches than I was in the affiliate.
Almost.
And like dudes would like, in a lot of areas, like they would just write her off completely. And I'd be like, dude, Nicole can teach you way better than I can. Like, just listen, just stop being a jerk.
I mean, that's something that I've dealt with like my whole career probably. Like even back in the day in boot camp, I was the only female coach. Like it's a very male predominant profession. And even as a personal trainer, I remember some guy was doing a machine wrong, and I was like, excuse me, sir, can I show you like a different way of doing it? And he was just like, I don't want no Barbie telling me what to do. You know, so it's like, it's always there in a way. But
you're like, let's go do 5 rounds for time at 800 meter.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I think I got a lot of confidence like at boot camp, for example, because I got to hear it a lot, like, oh my God, your workouts are so much harder than from these guys. And so like I got a lot of good feedback from there that I was like a sneaky kind of, it came sneaky from me. Like I wasn't maybe in your face like hard or anything, but But it was still like I got a lot of confidence as a coach, coaching like all these big male egos from there. But when I coach males, like maybe on the initial calls, I feel like a little bit like, does it bother him that I'm a female? Like it does cross my mind sometimes.
Yeah.
But then like as soon as we go through the testing in the first week and I just get great feedback from them, then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's good. But it's still like back there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's got to be challenging for sure. I've always thought that was cool, like Pat Vellner just like sticking with Michelle like through his whole career. I've always thought that was like such a cool thing. And to like
cool.
see her in his corner, like
Super cool that these female coaches are coming up now.
Yeah, to be honest, it's something I never thought of. And that's probably, never thought of that with you. That's something that would be a big hurdle to overcome for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think about that on like the intro calls we do and stuff like that. I'm just like, I
was even like, oh, what if I get like a guy that wants to make the games, and then it just like gets me as a coach, and like a.
So what do you tell yourself like in those times where you're thinking?
I just like believe, because I've just learned so much as well through this process, and I'm like, I believe I belong here, and like just getting the feedback from the actual athletes is like cool. I belong here. It's cool. Yeah,
we all have those insecurities. Yeah, you're not alone. So
did it help being on a team with like other males too, to be able to like maybe like write a workout and then like they would do it and like just build confidence for you of like, okay, well, like I can manage guys on a team or yell at them on like in the middle of the floor when they're dying.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
but also
cool.
just training with them. Like I'm like, I could hold on to them.
Yeah. What we always ask clients like, what's your goal? What's your dream? What's your aspiration? Like, when do you want to compete and all these things, right? We need to know in order to reverse engineer a program. I want to turn it on you. Like, what is your big loaded question again, right? Like, but what is your goal as a coach? Like, what do you want to achieve in coaching that you have yet to achieve? I mean, you've been doing it for 22 years, so you've impacted a lot of people. Yeah. But do you still have something out there that you're like, I still really want to be able to do this and accomplish this as a coach?
I think I'm like doing it right now. I'm just like being a part of this amazing team, and I just learn something every day, which is something I aspire to do. I just want to become better in everything that I like take on, and I feel like that's what I'm doing now, just by learning and being open and having our meetings and learning from the best coaches. Like, and my goal is to become one of the best coaches as well in the world.
How do you know when you've reached that? What does that look like for you?
Just by continuous like getting good feedback and helping people and just it doesn't have to be that I have an athlete like reach the games or anything. Like, it's just so much more than that. It's just help them find their why, and like, just I had a girl the other day, she had been working towards just hanging on the bar for 3 minutes, and she had been working towards it for like such a long time, and then she got it, and she was like called me crying, and she was so happy, and like that's something that's just so amazing, even if it's such a small thing.
I think you'll coach a lot longer with your personal why, like enjoying those wins and helping people accomplish those things versus having I get caught up in, I'm such a competitive guy, and a lot of us coaches are, right? We're former competitors ourselves within CrossFit or other sports, and we're like trying to live like almost vicariously through our athletes. I want to coach an athlete who goes to the games. I want to coach an athlete on the podium at the games. And we think that that's what defines success for us as a coach. You have a lot healthier understanding of what it means to have success as a coach.
Especially when majority of the people even doing individual program design are not games athletes or semifinals athletes. They're local competitors that are trying to like use this as an opportunity to better their life as a whole. Yeah. So like being able to celebrate someone hanging from a bar for 3 minutes, is just as cool as like celebrating with someone podiuming at the games. If you're doing it right. I would agree.
I just remember I was I got this job. I was like measuring body composition, measuring
pinch of people's fat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Skin calipers.
Because they were doing some sort of a competition for their workplace, and it was like a grocery store. And it was like probably 60 people or something came one by one, and just the shape of people, and I remember walking into my car and I just almost started crying, like I don't know, because they were also like connecting with me and telling me some stories, and like some of them were like really depressed, and it's just so many people that, you know, just have like, we can help them just be like, feel so much better and live so much better just by listening and teaching them something and, you know, being there.
I was sharing with somebody the other day, like in an intro call, the cool thing about what we do is we're helping people, like Dom was saying, like, you know, at any level in the sport. And we are, you know, one thing we wear on our sleeve too is on your shirt, it's performance coaching. We're only coaching people who want to perform better in the sport of CrossFit. Like that, you know, if you want to get better at high rocks, that's not what we're good at doing or helping people do. If you want to be better triathlete, it's not our expertise. But the cool way that we coach and coaching the whole person, something we just talk about all the time, and I beat a dead horse with it, is like, you know, we were talking with Sean before in the previous episode that, you know, the difference between health and performance, even when you're still coaching people in performance and you're getting them to think about their nutrition and eating better and sleeping better and managing stress more appropriately, or allostatic load, to use a fancy word, you're naturally going to make people better spouses and better friends and better coworkers and better people, right? And so we get to do both simultaneously. That's the beauty of the way that we coach.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I saw Dave Castro recently. I think he was talking to Saxon or something, and he was like, I want to see more games athletes like be involved in a coaching platform, or like in their, like being involved in their affiliate. And I was actually thinking about that, and I was like, how many coaches nowadays in the sport of CrossFit have actually coached in an affiliate? And I don't know what that is or what that looks like, but there's so much value in learning how to coach a person when you got to teach a 40-year-old woman who's never done a sport, has like 3 kids, and is a stay-at-home mom or something, like how to snatch or like that, but wants to push themselves in workouts and like do better in their fitness and even like compete in their class.
Yeah.
Like if you can figure out how to coach a person like that, you can, what that does for a coach in a sport, I think is invaluable if they've never done it.
That's
so
like
I think
one of my favorite things is to get those beginners, because when you see the shift, like when the light bulb goes off for them, like, oh my God, this fitness thing, like I just feel so much better, and like I'm a better mom, I'm a better dad, like, and now they don't have to come, but they actually want to come. Like it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, that was always something really cool. I remember too, being in an affiliate, is seeing like an affiliate member all of a sudden that like you would never expect want to compete, be like, hey, I'm signing up for Thunderdome in August or something. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, we're doing a team with these 2 people. I'm like, no way you guys are doing a CrossFit Comp. This is awesome. And it's like all of a sudden these people who you wouldn't expect to be competitors are becoming competitors. And I think that's a cool thing that we get to do as coaches. And like with your experience as an affiliate owner, growing in an affiliate, becoming a coach in an affiliate, competing in an affiliate, all of that, it's like invaluable relationally as a remote coach.
it can be a huge, I mean, there's got to be, you know, in other camps, and I mean, sometimes, you know, being at Mayhem, I think one of the things that's helped me continue to coach people well remotely is doing what you're doing every day, like coaching in an affiliate. Yeah. I don't coach every day in an affiliate. Shout out CrossFit Goose Creek that lets me coach every once in a while on a Saturday. One of the reasons I still coach, or a couple of reasons: one, I want to be a part of the community, but 2, it's also just to kind of keep my thumb on the pulse of like not lose touch, right? Like and be at Mayhem or work with people remotely that are not even just like people who just want to, general fitness clients who want to like throw down their local box and local affiliate. And I think it helps it better when I help Locker with Mayhem compete, right? Like looking at the workouts, like, oh, Bob can't do that. You know, like when we're like, it's like open level. So you have a unique advantage there too, being in an affiliate every single day. It's going to make you be able to connect with people better and then just make you a better coach, right? Better programming, simply. So
more simple programming, which is good too.
For sure. Yeah.
I even started competing myself again, just to have like my community at the gym kind of help them compete as well. So I'm like on a team with them, and like so now they're all into that. So it's also nice to see that.
That is so fun. Cool.
Good there. Yeah. Cool. Well, Inga, we'll have you back on the next time you fly in all the way from Belgium. Yeah. Maybe we'll come to Inga.
The original daughter.
Yeah, the original daughter. Yeah.
This is holy ground.
That is a bad. That's a
probably can't see that on TV, but I took my shoes off.
To that, Gunkler, is that possible? Can we? No, not possible at this point. Inga, thanks for being here. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, braving the 20-hour flight.
Yeah.
And 20 hours of travel. So.
Yep. A little bit of jet lag.
Until next time.
Perfect.
Appreciate
Episode
you guys.
5.
7
and
a half.
All righty.